Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Melanie back with Melanie Loves Death Metal. Not a standard collection update video today. Decided to do something a little bit more fun. Well, for me, anyway, it was fun. You might find it interesting, I don't know. But I've seen a couple other YouTubers do this recently, so just thought I would give it a shot and see what I could find and figure out what, if this would actually be fun or not. Anyway, I'm fumbling. But yeah, so this is my top 15 most expensive vinyls in my collection according to Discogs. Now, I was going to do tapes, but I haven't put all of my tapes into my Discogs discography yet. So I might do another video maybe next week sometime doing the same exact thing. I feel like my tapes might have a little bit more things that are a little bit crazy in terms of prices just because they're so limited and not as many of them were made at the time. But still some surprises about this vinyl stuff. Was surprised by some of these at how much they've sold for or are going for right now. I didn't really realize what I had in my collection and what it could actually be worth at this point. Would I pay these prices if I didn't have them right now? Absolutely not. Just gonna call that out. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, in your discography, you can filter by minimum, maximum, mean, based on what they've recently sold for or have sold for or are currently being sold for, all these different rules. That's my cat Tofu. No editing in these videos, by the way. I just don't feel like doing that. But yeah, that's my cat Tofu as he cleans himself. Okay, Tofu. Hey, let's go somewhere else, buddy. Let's lay down. Okay. Anyway, he's gonna go somewhere else now. No editing here, so enjoy that little blurb. But yeah, so I filtered this by the current max based on what is in my discography. He's just hanging out now. And I picked the first 15 because I thought those were the ones that were the crazy amounts. Anything past top 15 is ranging in like the $50, $60 range, which is not all that crazy. So, all right, let's get started with the first one. So the first one I was actually really surprised about, but when reading about this and understanding the history around it, I kind of was like, makes sense, for the diehards in the scene. They would definitely, yeah, it just made sense. So that is Slaughter Destroys with Winterkill. If you're not familiar with this, it's a Chicago band, power metal, from back in the 80s. Yeah, that's right, 80s. I had to question that for a minute, sorry. And yeah, so I actually have a story about this, but before I get into that, I'm going to tell you the prices currently right now. So for minimum, this has sold on Discogs for $30, which didn't surprise me. But the maximum amount that this is sold for was $475. I thought that was crazy. So yeah, there's some diehard fans out there that will pay good money to have this. So this was limited. This is actually a limited repress. So this is even a first press that was limited to 500 copies. And as you can see, mine does not have a number. And there's a reason behind that. So the guitarist of this band, Paul Cracky, is actually a really close family friend of mine. He is very close with my cousin, and they have always been close, since they were young. They grew up in the same area of Chicago that I am actually from, and a lot of my family still lives there. And last Christmas, when we all got together before COVID was a thing, we had our normal family Christmas party. Paul came with his wife, and I was actually given this by him personally. He said, I had some laying around my house. Your cousin Jeff mentioned that you were really into vinyl right now. You're collecting all these old school death metal vinyls here. You should definitely have this in your collection. He also gave me another one of theirs, but this is the one that's currently being sold for a lot of money and people really want. So this was crazy to me. I mean, obviously I knew this is a classic, so knew that, but I just didn't realize like how people would really they would really pay a lot of money for this. So anyway, I have no intentions of ever selling this again. It was personally given to me by Paul. So again, yeah, Paul, for whatever reason you randomly stumble upon this, thank you again. This is very sentimental to me, and actually, I might actually frame this because I don't want anything ever to happen to it. It's in really, really good shape. It's just plain black vinyl, so I'm not even going to pull it out. But yeah, I've spun this about 2 or 3 times now, and then I realized like what this was worth, and I'm kind of like, I want to keep this in the best condition possible. So yeah, super cool. Probably one of the biggest gems in my collection right now, just for sentimental reasons. So that was the top selling one. And we're going to go down. We're going to do this in opposite. You know, everybody wants to hear the top selling one, the highest one. So yeah, the next highest one was another one that I was actually really surprised about. This is Between the Buried and Me, The Anatomy of. Now this is like a compilation of covers that they did of their most influential bands that they love. Very cool vinyl. It actually, I'll take it out and show you really quick. Just gonna try to keep this video not as long, but it opens up in this really weird way where it's split in the middle. Kind of is a pain, I'm not gonna lie. And then the vinyls themselves are these really cool translucent orange vinyls. So yeah, this on Discogs is been sold for the minimum amount of $55 and then the maximum amount of $200. So I actually got this from a friend who had recently worked for Victory Records back when they were a thing, and Between the Buried and Me was on that label. And he managed to get a hold of this when they had released it back in 2013. He had 2 copies of it. So when I told him this was the only one that I needed to complete my collection at that time, he gave this to me as a gift. So again, my top 2 highest priced vinyls were gifts that I did not put any money towards. So, yep, $200. Do I think that that's worth it? For a diehard collector that absolutely loves this band, I mean, I love this band. They're one of my favorite bands, and I have their whole entire discography on vinyl. No, maybe $100. I don't know if I would ever spend over $100 for this. But that's just me, my opinion. Some people might disagree. All right, so that was the second one. The third one wasn't a really big surprise to me either. I know like the diehards around this fan base, and it is another Between the Buried and Me, and this is the Parallax 2 Future Sequence. This is by far one of my favorite top 10 albums of all time. I am a huge Between the Buried and Me fan. I always have been. If you're not familiar, they're like a progressive death metal band. They do a lot of crazy stuff in their music, long songs, very good, just very talented musicians. They put on an amazing show. This is actually a first press. It's a really nice gatefold. Has some of my most favorite artwork in there. I've considered getting maybe some of this stuff actually tattooed on me someday. And then each vinyl, of course the gatefold's a pain in the ass. Each vinyl is actually a different color. So this side is this blue color, and then the other side, which let me pull out. Actually, I'm not even going to try and get these back in all one video. I'll do it when I'm out. So the other side is this really cool gray. And then, so yeah, this is a really, really, really good album. I would say one of their best in their discography, obviously. Some of their earlier works like Colors and The Great Misdirect are classics, and those are some of the best work as well. This also came with some, inner sheets with more cool artwork. But yeah, so this sold for a minimum of $80 and then a maximum of $199. Would I pay for that now if I didn't have this in my collection? I think they've done a couple of represses of this since, so I probably would have gotten a repress and not even bothered trying to get a first press at all. But yeah, I mean, again, this is one of my favorite bands. I will do this later. I probably would at least spend maybe close to $100 if I absolutely really wanted that. But I don't know, people are crazy. They'll pay whatever they want if it's something they absolutely want. All right, the next one is, I was actually really surprised by this one too, just because I have other albums that I for sure thought would have been worth a lot more than this, but I guess not. is Machine Head's The Blackening. Yeah, this is a first press. It's just a black LP, so I'm not even going to open it, but it's a gatefold black LP, Roadrunner Records, back in 2008. Third now vinyl in this video that was given to me as a gift. This was actually given to me from my in-laws, believe it or not, when I first started collecting vinyl back in this time frame. So yeah, so the minimum that this sold for was $49, and then the maximum that this is sold for has $180. Would I pay for that? Absolutely not. Machine Head, as much as I love some of their albums, I've not really gotten into any of the newer stuff that they had put out before, I believe, their hiatus that they're currently on. I mean, yeah, it's a great album, but I don't think I would ever pay that much money for it. So the next one was actually a box set, so I'm skipping that because I feel like that's just not fair. It's a box set, of course, it's going to go for a lot of money. So moving on to the next one, I was not surprised by this one at all, just because, again, I know the fan base and totally understood it. It's Periphery 4, Jesus. Hail Stan. This actually came out in 2019, so this is a pretty recent release. Phenomenal album. I'm a huge Periphery fan, even though I love death metal. I also love these other bands, one-off bands, and Periphery is one of those. I do have all of their vinyls in my collection. This is a first press, which is probably why it's selling for so high, because I know that they've repressed these since. Comes on this really cool variant. I think the other one is actually a different color too. Let me pull it out. I will be honest with you, I have spun this on my platter once since I've gotten it, and that is because at the time of this album coming out, I got so much other stuff at that time, and then I started getting into tape collecting, but yeah, so now that's the other one. So now, seeing this and hearing about it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna spin this today. So I spun it for the second time today. But I have listened to this album a lot. Digitally, I've seen them, I saw the concert that they did with this last year, back in 2019, before COVID, so this is one of the last concerts I've seen. Phenomenal, these guys are great. This sold at a minimum for $69 and then a maximum of $173. Would I pay that? I would definitely pay $70 for this. I would. I just would. I know they've repressed them, but I think this is obviously the best one that they've put out so far. So great album. If you're not familiar with Periphery, you might like them. I mean, they make some good stuff. They're the gentlemen in the genre of gent and prog metal. I don't know, I'm just talking. Anyway, all right, the next one that came after Periphery, which now we're getting into things that I was not surprised about, is Opeth, Still Life. So this is a 2010 Peaceville issue that came from the UK, so it's an import. Peaceville, I just feel like that alone, quality record. One of my favorite Opeth albums. It is a gatefold, plain black vinyl, no crazy color variants. Again, some of the best Opeth that they've put out. I do like a lot of their newer stuff, but I tend to go back to their older albums. So I was not surprised by this. This sold at a minimum for $30 and a maximum of $146. I don't think you should pay that. I'm pretty sure they've made so many represses of this since then, and you can probably actually buy this on Amazon. Not even gonna lie. But yeah. All right, and that just. All right, come on. That. Okay. All right. Getting towards the end here. So the next one after Opeth in my collection was one that I was actually really surprised about. Really surprised about. So this is Counterparts, The Difference Between Hell and Home. I love Counterparts. They're a hardcore band if you're not familiar. Their lead singer is hilarious, so you should follow him on Twitter. I'll link it in the description. I think they make great music. I've been a fan of them ever since they've come out. I have all of their albums. This is probably one of my least listened to in the discography, and that's just because I like all the other ones better than this one, but that's not to say this isn't good. It's a great album. But yeah, came out on Victory Records 2014. I believe this is the Canada version. Nope, USA. This USA version. Anyway, yeah, really surprised by this, and I don't think it's colored either. Now that I think about it, it doesn't say that I have up right now. I think this might just be plain black vinyl, which again blows my mind because yeah, it's just plain black vinyl. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So the minimum of this was $17, which yes, that's what you should pay for this. Maximum has gone for $139, and I don't know if that's just some diehard stuff. It was super limited. I don't think that they've repressed these since. I don't know. I didn't go and look to find out. Thinking that since this is the original Victory Records one, that might be why it'll sell for so high, considering they're not even a thing anymore. But yeah, great album, great band. If you like hardcore music, definitely get into them. Like I said, the lead singer is hilarious. He's great. There's a couple podcasts he's done that I've listened to. He's a hilarious guy. Great band. They put out good stuff. So yeah, definitely check them out. And I think Will Putney put out their latest one, which is one of my favorite albums that came out in 2019. So yeah, good stuff. So that was Counterparts with that in my stack here. Gotta move it. Okay. And then after that, we're getting towards the end. Some of these I for sure thought would be a lot higher than the ones I've shown you so far, but I guess not. So the next one is, and this is one that I surprisingly had forgot that I owned, and that's just simply because I've been so into death metal these last like 2 to 3 years, where I've only been collecting death metal vinyl and black metal. I haven't listened to this in forever, and then I saw this and was like, oh my god, I'm gonna listen to that today. It's a great album. And that is the Contortionist with Intrinsic. I can't talk. Anyway, this is with their old singer. This was out on Good Fight Music back in 2013. It's an original first press. So this is before their latest singer. Can't think of his name right now. But yeah, one of their best albums to come out back before they started to change their sound a little bit. Good stuff, yeah. I mean, it's progressive metal, space metal at the time this came out. Just plain white vinyl, nice printed inner sheet. So this sold for a minimum of $50, which I think I paid $40 for this, but that was with shipping. And then a maximum of $135. Would I pay that now? No, because I'm not a diehard Contortionist fan, but there might be people out there that are, and that's probably the reason why they are paying this cost for it, because it's out of press, it's limited, it's got the first singer before they made their changes. Yeah, but it's a really good album. Definitely check us out if you've never heard it. And you're also seeing the variances that I have in my vinyl collection. All right, the next one is... Again, was really surprised by this, but at the same time not, because I know the fan base. The next one is Shadow of Intent, Melancholy. So this is the exception to the rule that I have of deathcore, one of the few bands I listen to in deathcore. Phenomenal album, I will say that. This is... I don't remember if this is a first press or not. I think it is. It's a first press. Anyway, this is the US version I have. I know that these are completely sold out, super hard to find. People were going crazy about it. It's a nice gatefold, and I'm just going to show you the vinyl because I think they're really cool. It's this like mergey stuff, gold merge stuff. I know that they came out with an orange one too. I wanted that one originally, but that's pretty much impossible to find and probably worth way more than this one. But yeah, this sold for a minimum of $30, which I think you can probably get lucky and still find some distros that have this if you try really, really hard, at least in the UK. And then it sold for a maximum of $129. Would I pay for that? No. It's a great album, like I said, but again, I think that they've also repressed these since then. But again, first press, people just... going crazy for those first presses. All right. And then the next one, another surprise that I had. And again, was kind of, this might just be the fan base really jacking up this price. But this is Thomas Giles' Modern Noise. So if you're not familiar with this, which I feel like some people that watch my channel right now have no idea what this is, Thomas is, or Tommy that he goes by, is the singer of Between the Buried and Me. This is his solo project that he has. I think this is the second album in his project. The only one that I own. I think he's come out with one or two since this is released, and I just never got around to getting to them, but I'm sure it's great stuff. A lot of, like, you know, alternative synth sounding. It's good. It's really, really good. Obviously it's good because I bought it. But yeah, this was out on Metal Blades Records. The first press, I think I got this like as a pre-order. I believe it's on a cool color variant as well. Yes, it is. So it's on this like really cool like sea blue variant. All right, so this one, again, I was completely surprised to see that this was one of the higher ones in my collection, knowing that I have so much other stuff. This sold for a minimum of $13, which made sense for me, and then a maximum of $100. All right. Again, that's probably just the fan base. You know, they love Between the Buried and Me. They love Tommy. Just trying to get their hands on what they possibly can. All right. The next one was not surprised about. I actually thought this was going to be higher in my list, and I think that this has gone down quite a bit because they've repressed this recently with a lot of really cool color variants that are even harder to find now. But this is Cattle Decapitation, Monolith of Inhumanity. This is one of my all-time favorite albums, one that I will be buried with. So I have a top 10 album. This is on there. Cattle Decapitation is also one of my favorite bands. So they did just repress these last year. There is a color variant that I am so upset that I did not get. I completely slept on it thinking it's not going to sell out, and it's sold out, and now you can't find it anywhere, and it's really expensive everywhere. It's the color variant. It's a splatter. It's a crazy splatter. It's awesome looking. Anyway, if anybody has that for sale that's below $70, please let me know. I definitely want to add that to the collection. This is one of the only albums that I collect color variants for. I have two more, but this is the most highest expensive one in my collection, which I'm not surprised about. Travis, that great gatefold. So this is a second press. It's not even a first press, so that's how you know these are a hot commodity on this awesome splatter. Like, look at that. This is my favorite vinyl in my collection. Out of all the vinyl that I have, which I have about 1,000, this is my favorite one of all time. Like, just like, look at that. It's beautiful. And the album itself is amazing. So that makes it even better. So this sold for a minimum of $35, which, hell no, I would definitely pay more than $35 for this. And then at a maximum of $100. So now I know for a fact that this used to be priced higher at some point. I don't know what changes or influx of pricing on Discogs, but back when I first had this, I think this was, people were buying this, at least on eBay, I was seeing for well almost $200, which now I'm seeing some of the color represses that they did are currently going for that. So yeah, again, would I pay $200 for this or over $100 for this? I probably would. Don't tell my wife. So yeah, that was Cattle Decapitation. Surprised a couple of their other albums aren't up there because I do have first presses of a couple of their albums, but again, these are Discog prices. Whatever. Nothing ever makes sense on Discogs. Okay. The next one was not a big surprise at all. This is Blood Incantation, Hidden History of a Human Race, the Nessie press that they did last year. So if you're not familiar, new Northeastern Steel Industry, I think I said that correct. It is a distro pressing plant out in China, and they do these really cool color variants. This is such a pain in the ass to show. Top-notch quality pressings on these really nice sleeves, and they do like these embossing logos, and it's just like this matte raised finish. Has got this OB strip on here. So yeah, this I actually thought would be more because this was only limited to 100. I got number 88 in there. And just the pressings that they do are wild. Like, they're just so cool looking. Like, look at that. It's a black with this, like, fluorescent green splatter. So yeah, this is probably another one of my favorite vinyls in my collection. I don't spin this probably ever because I actually own 2 other color variants of this vinyl, which I am surprised the green version of this, which is the first press, was not up there. So I might have to go back and question this. But yeah, anyway, super limited. If you're not familiar with NAACP, definitely check them out. I do presses like once a month. Special limited stuff. I haven't seen a flyer go out this month about what they're doing. It actually might be once a quarter. It's not very frequent, but yeah. Anyway, this is my 3rd pressing from them. They do great stuff. I really enjoy them. Shipping's not that bad either. It's worth it. It's not bad. So what this sold for? A minimum of $79 and a maximum of $100. So I bought this for $50. It was about 20 for the vinyl, and then it was like 25 for the vinyl, and then like another 15 or something for shipping, just because of where it was coming from. But definitely worth it. Would I spend $100 for this? If I would, like Blood Incantation is one of my favorite bands. Obviously, if I'm a diehard fan and I'm trying to collect all the color variants for this specific album, maybe I would. If somebody was actually selling it. I have not seen these for sale anywhere since they've been released. So, again, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised some of my other ones that I have aren't higher, but maybe it's because they've repressed them so many times now that they're just not worth as much anymore. I don't know. I don't know what drives these prices on Discogs. All right. The next one is, and we're getting towards the end, these are the last 3, is Passage de Hiver. I always say it wrong, with I'm Bald. This is his release from last year. It is a 4 LP box, as you can see. It's all on black vinyl, so I'm not even going to bother showing it all. This actually, I thought would be a little bit more, because I think these are pretty much, for the most part, hard to find unless you buy directly from him, which I think you can through Bandcamp, but even then, the shipping and stuff is insane. So anyway, this was sold at a minimum of $60 and a maximum of $99. I got this for $50. So, and that was just because shipping was insane. Would I pay $100 for this? Yes. Not even going to explain why. I don't think you even need an explanation of why. It's amazing. All right, this video is getting long, so I'm going to rush through these last 2. And then find this last one of the last 2. Can't talk. The next one is Meshuggah's Obzin. This is a repress on Nuclear Blast back in 2019. Again, I love Meshuggah, but I'm not like a diehard fan. So again, these are represses. I have a couple of their other albums that are also represses, but this came on this like really cool red and pink merged swirly thing. Probably my favorite Meshuggah album, because it's the first one I ever heard. I do have about 3 or 4 other albums in there, but this is the one that I typically listen to the most. It's very nice. They changed the cover art on these represses, which I wasn't that much of a fan of doing that, but whatever, they do that sometimes. A nice gatefold of some live shots, and then just that. Yeah, great album. Everybody knows Meshuggah, I don't need to talk about it. But anyway, this sold for a minimum of $35 and then a maximum of $99. Would I spend $100 on this? No, absolutely not. I would not. Would I spend $50 on this? Maybe even then, probably not. Die Hard fans, probably worth spending close to $70 for this if you really think so. I mean, I don't think that they've repressed this ever since. So, and they might not ever again. I don't know. But yeah, so that was Meshuggah. All right, and then the last one is probably my favorite out of this whole entire collection, and there's a reason for that. It is a personal reason. I'm gonna try and talk quickly. So the next one is another Blood Incantation album. This is the first press, so the original pressing, red, of Starspawn. So now, why is this probably the one that I thought would be a lot more, but again, they've repressed these a couple times since. But this is definitely one of the ones that is the hardest to find for sale for a decent price. So I'll tell you the price right now, and then I'll talk about why this means so much to me. So minimum was $50, and then maximum was $93. Now that's on Discogs. How much did I spend on this? I spent $250 on this, and there's a reason for that. Last year, Paul and a couple of the other guys from Blood Incantation did this charity where they put this up for auction on eBay, and all the proceeds were going towards charities that were fighting racism and other things like that. I will link in the description where all this money went to. So I auctioned on it, fully thinking I was not going to win. They did 2 other auctions too. There was, I think there was the Spectral Voice, Blood Incantation split that they did an auction with, and then I don't remember what the other auction was. It might have been a Hidden History one. I don't know. I did this one because I didn't have an original pressing of this in my collection because it's so hard to find. I won the auction, and I was blown away by that because, again, one of my favorite bands. Was cool to know that the money went towards a good proceeds. It's the original red pressing, came directly from the band. So there's a bunch of cool things around, this vinyl. But probably what really made this most special for me is that they wrote me a handwritten letter thanking me for auctioning off and for winning this auction and for basically giving, paying it a crap load of money for just this one vinyl. So it's kind of hard to read, but at the end of the thing that says, the thing that I love the most was fuck all racist, sexist, all oppressive ideologies, and every fucked up asshole who supports the system. Keep your heart and mind open, never give up, and stay space. Love, Blood Incantation. So yeah, this is my holy grail vinyl at the moment, with the exception of the Slaughter Destroys that I showed you. I am actually going to get this professionally framed. I just haven't done it yet. It also came on an immolation flyer, the note did, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, this is my most sentimental vinyl. Again, would I pay $250 for this if I saw it for sale? Probably not. But the fact that it came directly from the band, is an original press, had never been played, the money was going towards charities that I fully believed in, was for a really good reason. I don't regret it at all. So, and that is it. That is my top 20 highest, I think 20 or 15, I don't know, whatever I said in the beginning, highest vinyls in my collection at the moment. I'm going to probably do another one of these videos in like 6 or 7 months because I'm sure it'll probably change because I've bought so much recently, and there's so much stuff that has not come in the mail yet. So that's my video for today. I'm sorry it's a super long one. I hope you thought it was fun. If you want to see the tape one, I don't care. I'm probably going to just do it regardless of what you think. I'll probably do that next week as soon as I get them all cataloged and figure out how much they're worth. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate all the support. See you later, guys.